Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and our series This Week in Tarkov, where we cover everything Tarkov that's happened in the last week. Sounds stupid when I repeat that when I say call it This Week in Tarkov, but we're here nonetheless. We had a lot happen this week, so let's not waste any more time and get right into it. So first up, we got our letter from Rizhi, which is Russian for ginger, a redhead kind of deal. So his letter is a throwback to how he escaped the raiders in Factory. This was last month when raiders came to Factory to find Tagilla, apparently, and Tagilla fled to Interchange, so you were dealing with Tagilla and Killa on Interchange. That was that event. This is the follow-on to that. In this letter, he talks about how he escaped them. He's hiding at Lighthouse, and he can't find the trader that's supposed to be at Lighthouse that sells all the high-tier electronics to rich people. So that line, pretty much believe that hinted towards the event we're seeing right now. And on top of that, he mentions he feels like he's being watched, which might be a link to cultists. After that, a little bit later this week, we got two tweets from Nikita with guns. I guess they were from Nikita. One was from Nikita, one was from BSG. The tweet from Nikita was a stock, a shoulder stock for a gun. Somebody pointed out that it was the SR2 SMG, which is a 9x21 Greiza. I think I'm saying that right. It's the same ammo that the shrimp shoots. Now, this isn't anything new. It showed up in the wiki. It's been there for a while. They talked about it a long time ago. Right here, the SR2 Verisk. You can see it on the wiki talking about so many of the other guns that are kind of like semi-confirmed, not confirmed, that might be coming to Tarkov that they haven't yet. This is one of them. Now, this has the potential to be a top tier, very powerful SMG, specifically because of the ammo it shoots and because of its fire rate. So the 9x21 Greiza ammo, the stuff that the shrimp shoots, the top end ammo is going to be the 9x21 BT. This is 39 pen and 63 damage. And then on top of that, it has -4 recoil as the stats sit right now. They could adjust these when they introduce the gun, but we'll see. So that is a really powerful round for many reasons, not just its damage and penetration, but also that reduction in recoil. Now, you have to have level 4 proper to buy it, and it's pretty expensive on the flea market when you do, because not only is it used here, it's used to craft SPP, but the second tier ammo is available on loyalty level 3 proper, and that is the 9x21 PSGZH. It has 35 pen and 49 damage, so it's not a lot below, but it's a step down. This gun, with its 950 RPMs and its 20 to 30 round mags, I believe in kind of the way the game is structured, is going to fall somewhere between a P90 and an MP7. The MP7 is still going to beat this out. The ammo's better, the pen's better, the gun overall is just better, but the P90 lacks the penetration power and the damage that this new SR2 is going to have. Now, some of the more modern versions that you can see on the Wikipedia have Picatinny rails and suppressors and stuff like that. So we'll have to just wait and see which one they put in the game. But this will be a cool addition. It'll add more utility to this round right now that doesn't get used a whole lot. Next up, we got a tweet from BSG for this honkin' revolver. And if you don't know what this is the RSH-12. This pistol shoots the massive 12.7 by 55 millimeter round, which is the same one the Ash-12 uses. It has a 5-round cylinder and has a mechanical action that helps the resetting of the firing mechanism. There's a huge argument on whether this is truly a double action. Is it semi-automatic? I lean towards it's not a double action, because that's not what double action means, but I'll leave it to you to call it what you want to. There's no reason to argue. Nonetheless, it's a really cool pistol. It'll be coming to the game, it looks like. This isn't just a leak. This is a straight from BSG kind of deal. Then after that, we got this, what Nikita calls another strange picture. After a little bit of internet sleuthing, me and a couple others came to the same conclusion, that this is a POM2 landmine. Now, in real life, these are a self-deploying quasi-grenade landmine. Basically, you can arm them, throw them, and they deploy themselves, stand themselves up, and then deploy 4 tripwires all by themselves. Now, the mechanics around landmines we're unsure of. Nikita has said in the past, and if you go back to that wiki page where we're looking at the SR2, they talk about landmines, claymores, all sorts of explosives that are going to be in this kind of realm of work, but the actual functionality is yet to be determined. We don't know, are these going to be a scav boss only thing? So like when the raid spawns, they're just around, but the lore kind of side is that the scav bosses set them. Because Nikita has hinted at that with one of the scav bosses on Streets. Or is it going to be something that's available to all players? And if that's the case, what are the mechanics behind setting these, arming them, setting up tripwires, or having them manually detonated? And then after that, how visible are they? Can we disarm them as players? Is there a skill around disarming explosives? You know, can you destroy them? Can you break them? You know, all that. Can you shoot them? All of that kind of stuff, mechanics that are not in the game yet that we don't know about. So we have no idea how these are going to actually impact the gameplay. Now, if they do show up, regardless of mechanics, I've already picked out a few special places. And no, they're not extract camping. That's boring. It's a shitty thing to do. I don't like doing it. But there's some other places you can put these and have quite a little fun with. So I would say instead of complaining or being upset about this, I would start to think about how you could tactically use these in your gameplay. You know, are you a solo who likes to snipe? You can use them to cover yourself and prevent people from being able to rush up on you. Are you squads that like to hunt players down? You can use this to eliminate routes of escape. Or, you know, maybe keep them stupid alarms on reserve silent. That's going to be one of my top things to do. Now, to wrap this up, for the week, for the most part, we had an event on Friday, yesterday. We got a picture of a screen. It's a screen grab of of some kind of internet website that sells gear. There's not a lot of information on here per se. It's basically a monitor and a keyboard that was bought. Somebody's leaving a review about it. It has Terra Group, not for resale, stamped on it, which is kind of concerning if somebody's stamping or somebody's selling Terra Group stuff. But nonetheless, the other interesting thing is the ROPN keys are wore out on the keyboard. So that's bothersome. And then lastly, a little bit of information that's kind of hidden is the top is this ARRS terminal tab. That's the tab that's not selected. Now, ARRS stands for Automated Radio Relay Service. Long story short, it's a system BSG used when they first launched Tarkov. It was kind of riddles and stuff to let people know the game was going to be launched and do kind of a reveal. And then it was used back about 3 years ago for some other games and stuff, but it hasn't been touched since then. And I believe this is one of the first times it's been directly referenced. So maybe we're going to get some new riddles and things to solve, code breaking, stuff like that. I don't want to go into more detail. You could honestly do a 40-minute video about the ARRS thing and what it meant and what it did. Go to the wiki if you're interested. Just type in ARRS. It'll come up. You can read all about it. Now back to the event. What it looks like this happened is the event has added barters with the traders. Almost all of them. Fence and Jaeger didn't for various reasons, but those guys don't have barters, but all the others do have barters. And these barters are all on loyalty level 1, and they require military tech. And in conjunction with that, it looks like we have seen an increase in electronic spawns on a couple of maps. Now, if you want to know more about the specific barters and stuff, go check out my video from yesterday. I go through all of them there, explain them so you can see what they are. Now, if you're one of those players that isn't sure where to find military tech, we're going to do kind of a little quick loot guide here. It's not going to be specific. I'm not going to give you specific locations, but I can give you rough ideas where to find this stuff. And the first one we'll talk about is Reserve. Here's the map of Reserve. Now, this map is by Reamer. He does fantastic work. So they're mostly up on the wiki. If you want to check them out, I suggest you do. But they're super cool, informative maps that he does for just about everything. Now, specifically where you find tech items, let's hop over to Paint and do it on Paint because I can draw on there. The first place, obviously, is going to be the White King building. And let me get a paintbrush here and we'll draw on it. So that's this building right here. So primarily on this side of the building, and then in the big garage area here and here. Actually, that's not big enough. Let me make is my colors gonna be big enough here? Okay, here we go. So this side of the building and the big garage area, right? First floor, second floor, third floor, and the garage area all have tech spawns, open spawns where you can find these items. After that, you have what's called drop down room, which is RBAK. It's this little room right here on the second floor. You can drop down from third floor or just have the keys cheap. You can do it. As well as the third floor of Schoolhouse, which is Black Bishop. All of those can have tech spawns. There's a tech spawn on the roof of Black Pawn, which is right here. And then lastly, over in RBST, this locked end building, there's some tech spawns. It's mostly ACEs, but you can find MGTs and military cables and things over there as well. Now, if you want a more in-depth guide, I have an older video that's a reserve loot guide that's still good. It'll explain a lot of this stuff in better detail and kind of show you some more specific spawns. So go check that out if you want to. And then the other big map where you can find them is going to be Lighthouse. And this one's going to be a little bit more coverage. We're going to go to the south end first and talk about where you can find a lot of the military tech spawns. So let me get a brush here that I think is going to work. Let's go with spray paint. We're going to go red again. I think this will work good. So obviously one of the first big places you can find it is the chalet up here ooh, that's black. Let's go with red so it's easier to see. All the way up on top up here is the chalet. All throughout this, all the floors, you can find ACEs, graphics cards, the whole 9 yards. Not just military tech, but valuable loot. That's going to be one of the bigger spots. The burning crashed helicopter over here, just to the side of it. There's on this side of it, right next to helicopter, there's a couple of spawns, and just look around on the ground because you can find stuff there as well. Then after that, basically the whole length of the road. Anything along this road, it's not everywhere, but the specific spots are kind of hard to point out. But if you're going to walk down that road, as dangerous as it might be, just check next to all the boxes, all the bodies. You'll see scattered loot, and you can find ACEs and military power filters and military cables. I found them. specifically around, there's a bus right here, I believe, with a broken box. And then this area right here along the edge, you'll find all that kind of military tech loot. And then moving up, if you get into the village area, specifically this house right here, it's kind of a big red house that you can go into. It's not locked. Up on the second floor, there's a room that has like a high-end gaming computer. There's 2 or 3 spawns in there that can spawn tech loot. I found everything from Iridiums and MGTs to ACEs, military power filters, the whole 9 yards up there. Then on top of that, this is the hillside house key, I believe is what it's called. This one's locked. There's a couple of spawns in here where you can find tech loot as well. And then another unlocked one is going to be, I call it the governor's house, whatever you want to call it. It's this big building here, specifically on the left corner on this side. I say the left corner, the northwest corner, or the northeast corner. There's a computer on the floor and stuff on the second floor. If you go up there, there's a military tech spawn there for sure, but there's also a couple others in boxes and stuff to look around for. And then down in the cottages, I've had people say that they've found military tech in some of these buildings. I never have. It might not hurt to check it. But one place for sure that you can find them is in this van that's in the crash in the water right here. If you go look in the van, there's a box there. I've found ACEs in there and MGTs and stuff as well. So it's definitely there. Now moving over into the water treatment plant, for sure, myself, I have found military tech in all of these tents, all scattered throughout. I've had guys tell me that they found stuff in both of these areas where the helicopter are and tents. You can find stuff down in there. Obviously, you're gonna have to deal with rogues and people sniping at you. And then there's been some reports that you can find stuff in the warehouses, but I haven't seen any pictures or anything solid yet. If you're in the area, it doesn't hurt to just walk through and look on the ground, basically on the second floor railings that patrol it. There's all sorts of stuff that can spawn there. So that works for all 3 of the buildings that you can find inside the water treatment plant, as well as more as these tents and stuff, loot's just scattered everywhere on Lighthouse. So you kind of look in the hot spots, run by them real quick, check, see if you can see anything, and just keep on moving. And then lastly, I have found a couple of things in this warehouse that are high tier loot. I don't remember any of them being military though. Things, the military tube, the military corrugated tube, whatever it is, that used to be really expensive. I found those in here, but I don't know if those share spawns with the other tech loot. I don't believe they do. I believe they're household items, but if you're over there or you're scav, it might be worth walking around and looking in to see if you can find stuff there. Now, lastly, you need some of the like SSDs and SAS drives, and you can find those in safes, filing cabinets, and computers, and those will show up any map. So if you're looting those, make sure, if you're running by those, make sure you loot them, because those things are worth a fortune right now with the way the barter system's set up. Now, I believe that this event is only going to be the weekend. It's going to go maybe Monday, Tuesday. I could be wrong, but that's my belief of it. That's kind of where they've gone with these events. The last couple of they've done is they just do them over the weekend. It's something for people to do, and then they get rid of them so that it doesn't completely ruin the economy, and the game can go back to what it was beforehand. Now, I've seen a lot of people make comments about asking if this is a wipe or stating this is going to be a wipe because it's ruining the economy. This isn't a wipe, guys. I don't think so. It's just another weekend event, probably going to be over. I see this as a way to get low-level players, newer players. They can get some of this endgame gear that they're never going to get in a wipe because it's locked. It's gated behind such high levels and so much playtime. It just gives them a chance to experience some of the stuff, but not completely reset the meta of the game or the economy. And it's going to be short term. Most of these prices that are jacked up, literally the day after these barters are gone, the prices will go back to normal. And any money that's being made or anything isn't going to matter. It's not going to change the way the game functions in a great deal with 3 or 4 days of events like this and looting. I think it's just a cool way for them to do these, to meet these specific goals, if you will, wrap it up in a little lore to make it a little bit more interesting, and just add this extra dynamic and fun dynamic to the game. Well, that wraps up this week in Tarkov. Hope you guys found it informative and enjoyed it. We're going to keep doing these every Saturday. Don't hesitate to check out our Friday crafting guides where we talk about what's good to craft. And we're just going to keep on working some other videos for you guys. Appreciate you watching. Wish the best of luck in your raids, and we'll see you in Tarkov.